Habari zenyu wadau. Yeah, so today nataka kuongea tu kidogo, just something on development. My name's ni Nelson Oginga, and today I want to talk about development in regards to it's a big debate that we have as a country. It's what right now I think the youths are advocating for, from whichever levels of governance that are there. And to me, what is ideally development, if you look at it from a commoner's perspective, or cheneza sema mwananchi wa kawaida. To me, I think development comes in two sectors. That is, one, the GDP, or the gross domestic product, in terms of how much you can produce as a nation. If you're looking at overhead in terms of generally kila mtu what they can produce as a person and also as a nation. Then two, there's also development in terms of infrastructure. And I think what I can get to advise this government in regards to what they are doing, because as much as we don't like whatever we have as per now, because many people have been agitating against the government, they are doing what they can as a government, but I think they can do better as a government, but maybe what they need is proper structures here and there. But let's talk about development, if you're focusing on development. So we have like right now we have Wealth Fund, we have the National Infrastructure Fund that is being founded right now, and all of them are being channeled towards development. But you see now, when it comes to development, I think we are focusing, I don't know, in regards to projection, or we starting off with infrastructure development is a good thing, but also we need to also focus on also the growth of each individual within the nation. For us to achieve this, there has to be that infrastructural development, which as it is, will increase generation of power, and that one will attract even industries, which ideally will also get to solve issues regarding the major issue that we have within this country as a country, which is human resource. We have a lot of human resource that is untapped, but we need it to be tapped in one way or another. For us to tap it to the maximum, we have to ensure that we use our natural resources as a country, that is the minerals we have within our borders, the human resource that we have within our borders, tap it to the fullest, with whichever level of governance, to ensure that we have all this working for us, working towards a better future for our country. So what I think should be done is now, other than just advocating for infrastructural development, we should also look at, if we are building roads, can we also build industries around them? To me, I think that the government is focusing on some are priority projects, but some are non-priority projects. If we took the money that now we are channeling towards something like affordable housing, which is a good project, is aimed at uplifting the vulnerable in the society, that's ideally, majorly what the government should do. But I think that if we had better settings in terms of allowing the economy, sparring up economy in terms of providing economic incentives to entrepreneurs, making sure that borrowing money is cheaper, providing access to loans and all that within the country, that one will spur economic growth from SME levels. And if you're looking at also at the expert level, we are having all these people coming out from different levels of education. We need to find a way. Is our education system structured to ensure that we have a functional development in terms of human beings, and also in terms of infrastructure, we also get to advance? Because I think that for Kenya to develop is Kenyans to develop. As much as we are contracting other people from outside, for Kenyans to develop, for Kenya itself to develop, Kenyans are the ones to develop. And the only way we can develop Kenya is by having Kenya having a productive, and by having every Kenyan being productive, and also building the required infrastructure to ensure that every Kenyan is productive. This ensures that this ideally will be things like now, if you talk about energy, if you talk about investing in technology, if you talk about investing in our healthcare, to ensure that our healthcare is at optimum, to ensure we invest in our education, and not just investing averagely. And this should be done with whichever level of governance, from the MCAs to the members of parliament, to the county governments, to the national government. And I think that we have these two forms of development taking shape. We having human resource within a country being developed, and we tap using that human resource, tapping within whatever resource we have as a country to ensure we have development infrastructurally. And I believe that the big dream that we should have as a country is that it's not that me as an individual should steal money to go and benefit myself and have a bad roads. We have seen the destruction that is caused by corruption. And as leaders, we should urge ourselves to ensure that we focus much more on development to ensure that infrastructurally we grow as a country. So with that, I think that now, if we are focusing on those two agenda, we'll have personally, I think that with those two things going in place, we'll have a rich country in terms of infrastructure development. We have better quality of life as a nation. And also, we get to have a good time while we also get to build a future for the next generation. So I think that with these things in mind, if leaders just focus their minds on towards the positive stuff, we'll be able to advocate further. Not just focusing on greed, because to me, I normally believe that there's just enough that every human being needs. We don't need all that kind of flexing that is going on and all that. The biggest flex should be we are living in a better world that we came into, and we're living it better than we found it. That should be the biggest flex. And when we do that, all that, I think that one of my inspiration when it comes to Africa is normally someone like Aliko Dangote. And if you look at Aliko Dangote, he's even building right now companies even in Kenya. He's very wealthy, but to me, the main source of wealth that I see that comes from someone like Aliko Dangote is because he's empowering so many people within the scope of Africa, and he's creating wealth from that. So to me, even to the leaders, if we utilize the human resource within the country, I think that should be the main aim. If we have every leader that is within the country setting up these plans, opening up businesses, and ensuring that they are putting as many people as engaged as possible, with this will increase much more production, and even our GDP will increase, and the quality of life that we have will also increase. So with that, I think that we need to have two things at a fix. One, we need to have the infrastructure in terms of where we're living being set right to ensure that it support this existing system, support now the human resource that is there. Because I think that those, to me, are key pillars. If we have that, then we'll have a rich network. We can get the levels of countries like Singapore if we focus on those two things. Strategically investing in economically viable projects, not just projects that will drain us of resources, will get us more into debt. But even if you're getting into debt, because debt isn't bad, but we get into debt with things that will generate a much more better output, which to me, I think is the human resource. Have structured education system that produce better outputs, and with that, and have good structured system that we channel these people towards. And with that, we'll be able to produce more. And because we'll be able to produce more, we'll start exporting more, we'll create more revenue in terms of even the channels that we get in our country. And I think that with that, we'll have a more enriched nation as opposed to what we have currently. So that's my take on development, generally what we can do in regards to development. And I hope maybe that this message gets to a leader, gets to someone that can get to take this message and think about it, that we need to have an enriched system rather than having enriched individuals only. And I think by having enriched systems, we'll have less strain within the